Welcome to this episode of Own It. What we're going to be talking about really is how to transition. Sometimes we may start in one place and then we end up somewhere totally different, right? And life is really just that. It's a journey. That's why I called my company Rite of Passage, ROP, because we're all going through our own transformation and transformative period. So with that being said, let's get into this with Marvin.
Okay. And they're like, hey, have you ever done stand-up? Or like, I was like, no, but
why not?
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
And they said, you are the headliner for the evening.
Wow.
And we want you to do 15 minutes.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that doesn't sound 15 minutes. Okay,
it's a lot.
Until I started to write and realized how long 15 minutes is.
Yeah.
And I was scared as hell, right? Nervous, all those things, but I did it. And
kind of a little something more personal.
No problem.
But basically, how do you believe being an entrepreneur affects your romantic life?
Yeah, again, it can be difficult because you have to put in, I think, a lot more hours than kind of that 9-to-5 structure. So depending on the partner you have, if you have a partner that's their thing is what's the love language, quality time or whatever, right? Then I can definitely, that could be
be hard.
Yeah, it could be hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, you're going through a period of, depending on what your business is, like things slow down at certain times, right? So,
and especially like I'm just gonna be real, right? This is my podcast, but especially as a man, right?
Yep.
And if you're not making no money, right?
Certain amount, yeah.
Like how does that make you?
Especially the gal don't want to go 50-50 these days, fellas. So fellas, you better know that you better get ready for your 110% because.
So today I have a very good friend here as well, not just somebody that's just here for the podcast, but actually one of my people, and that is Senior Gumboy, aka Marvin, aka what else, Marvin?
I guess the new moniker I'm going with is SGB, right? Or Marvin SGB to kind of bring it all together and tie things that I'm kind of working on and what I'm trying to build now. So
okay,
yeah, I'm still. Don't even feel no way about the names because the name thing for me has been like this big, thing. Do I want to go by my stage name or like, my Govy name,
yes.
And because people know me from different areas of life.
Yep.
So yeah, I feel you on the name thing. Don't worry.
Yes. No. And honestly, I think, and that just ties so well into what we're talking about today, right? Because we're really talking about you being a creative, right, entrepreneur, and just that process and that journey, right, and where it can take you, right? So, and I think honestly, like low key, although I'm new to the entrepreneurship game, I kind of been dipping my toes in it for a little while, so I understand it's like really a process,
for sure,
and things change, including the name, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? And a lot of people think like when you're starting your journey, you have to be here, right? And unless you're given everything and spoon fed and like you've been lucky enough to have a mentor, things like that, we all start down here, right, and build and adapt and change and that's part of the process, right? And I think a lot of people are scared of that and don't want to embrace that, but that's kind of the fun part of the journey too, right?
Definitely. But how, like, where do you think you start? Like, where do you think that whole even longing for that comes from?
I think it comes with a passion for something, right?
Yes.
For whether that be a passion to better yourself, whether that be a passion to give something to the world, right? I think it starts with a passion, whether that passion to be getting some money, there's different motivations for everyone, right? But I think you have to have some sort of want and passion to start.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think from the beginning that at least I've met you, I feel like you were already in this, right? So before you were even in this, like, what were you doing? Like,
yeah, so I guess my creative journey started with photography. Okay. Right? So I've been a professional photographer for like over 10 years now. Okay. And I've always been, I guess, a creative person. And I got into photography as a job, but then I guess in the early days of YouTube and stuff like that, I saw some videos like, oh, all my crazy intrusive thoughts, right? I thought, I can make a funny video and stuff like that. And I said, why not? Like I enjoy creating.
Yes.
And I started to just express my creativity in like the comedy skits and videos and stuff like that. And for me, I guess I'm lucky because being a photographer has taught me many things that I applied to the video world. So coming up with a concept, right? How to frame it, how to shoot it, the color in, right? Conveying what's in my mind into reality, right? So
I forget the name of them, but there are these black guys who are all about finance. Do you know what I'm talking about? And they came to Toronto.
Yes.
The tycoon guy.
I do know who you're talking about.
I can't remember the name, but I'm gonna put it below because I can't remember right now.
Yeah.
But I remember EYL. Oh, EYL, Earn Your Leisure. Yes. So that was the name. But basically, I remember even they said you start with one thing and then you can just build off of it. Because if you think about it, a lot of the things you've done, they're kind of easy to build off of each other. Right?
Yeah, for sure. They're pivots, right? Yeah. So at one point, I had a fashion channel, right? Which for me was easy pivot because I was already making YouTube videos and skits and whatnot. And I've always enjoyed like just creativity from different lenses, right? Whether that be music, art, fashion, because they're just all mediums of expression in my mind, right? So I've always, enjoyed, putting an outfit together, feeling myself a little bit and whatnot. So it was an easy pivot for me. Yeah. And then from there, I had like some shirts and stuff like that. So I think they're all encompassing. Yes. And somewhat still within my lane of creating. Right.
And like also who says you have to stay in your lane, but like what they were trying to say is that, you can make multiple streams of income just from like one idea and then just branching off with that idea just with other ideas.
For sure.
Because I think the entrepreneurial brain is like you constantly are just having ideas. Like sometimes I have so many ideas that I'm like, I can't do all of these. So I have to pick like 2 that I'm going to focus on. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because your brain is just like, oh, we could do this, could do this, could do this. Right.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the gift of and the curse of creatives. Right. Because we have so many ideas that sometimes we'll probably like chase this one too much. And I think I think it's more of a gift though, right? Because of what I've realized, a lot of people don't really like have ideas as often, I would think, right? And I don't know. I don't know if it's like at some point we all kind of like lose our imagination or just, get into this mode of just
being a robot.
Yeah.
Just doing what we're supposed to be doing, right? Like think about it if you're in a job where you don't really feel like your, passions and your creativity is being used. You're just kind of going through the motions, right? Yeah. And you're kind of losing that creative part of yourself unless you keep that alive, right? And I think once you're an entrepreneur, your creative juices have already started to flow.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And then they just keep flowing. Like that's kind of how things I find go.
Yeah.
Once you start, then it just keeps naturally going on its own. But I wanted to rewind it back actually, because when I asked you where you started, I was actually asking what you were doing before you started like being your, creative entrepreneurial self.
Yeah. So I guess before that, I was just, just kind of doing my thing, have a little job here, little job there. I've had a bunch of random jobs. I used to work at this like TV store on Kennedy Road.
Oh, Kennedy Road.
Shout out to Kennedy Road, right? Shout out to Kennedy Road.
Yes, all those short stores there. Yes, I remember.
I think at one point I had like this overnight job at Walmart.
Oh, right?
Stocking overnight. That didn't last too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess what got me into the photography thing was I then got this job at this photo lab, right? Just kind of doing retouching and stuff like that.
Okay.
And that's what really kind of showed me.
You have a knack.
I have a knack for it, and I appreciate like art and photography, right? So.
Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of, I guess, the start of that journey there.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, right? And I think that's why it's also important to try a lot of things, right? And not just stay stuck, especially if it's something you don't like, right? Because I remember when I was in my last like full-time job, I'm always talking things too quick, to be honest, because I remember I'd say to them there, like, you guys are going to see me soon. Like, I'm going to leave, right?
FYI.
Right? And they'd be like, okay, Danielle, right? And I'm like, but I'm dead ass. Right? I remember even like when I wanted to have a baby, like I was chatting that out a year before, like I'm having a baby, you know, and I didn't even have a man, you know. So but I always find that I always like
you gotta galley fest it, you know.
Right? Yes, right. And basically, yeah, I just knew that I did not want to stay there, and I knew that from a young age, like I'm sure you remember because we're friends, but that I used to throw parties when I was much younger with 3 other girls. You know, shout outs to 4G's Entertainment, and then I like transitioned to doing things in the church with a friend of mine, like throwing those types of events. So I've always kind of been dabbling into MLMs, all this stuff, trying to see what pops off, because I'm like, I don't want to work this 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
So for me, that was part of a push to say to myself that I need to try different things and figure out what's going to be that.
Yeah. What is for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it is. Like I've like along my journey, I've always kind of told myself, just try it. Like if I haven't tried something before, just try it. Even like when I tried my hand at stand-up comedy, right? The opportunity came to me by, I think it's like a YMCA kind of youth organization.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, have you ever done stand-up? Or like, I was like, no, but
why not?
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, well, you are the headliner for the evening.
Wow.
And we want you to do 15 minutes.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that doesn't sound 15 minutes. Okay,
it's a lot.
Until I started to write and realized how long 15 minutes is.
Yeah.
And I was scared as hell, right? Nervous, all those things, but I did it, and it definitely helped me grow, taught me things, and I did it a few times, and that's just kind of been my attitude. Even though you're scared, even though it seems crazy or kind of daunting, at least just try to know that you don't like it or it's not for you, and you will learn something.
Yes.
No, even if it turns out to be a disaster,
yeah,
you will take something from it, and that will help you on your journey and grow.
Definitely. I think you have to just push yourself, as you said, too, right? Push yourself, try something new, because through doing that, as you said, you're right. Even through the things that we deem as like quote unquote negative, there's always something that you could potentially learn from that, right? And then take with you moving forward. Because I can think about it now, reflecting back, even the jobs I would hate, I can think of certain aspects of them that help me now.
100%, yeah.
Right? Because, yeah, I can think of like, yeah, even the fact when I was teaching at a school and I thought I was being underpaid. But you know what? I got really used to talking in front of a whole lot of people. Right?
Yeah. The stand up there, I think, has taught me how to project, right? How to when I'm in front of an audience, right? Making eye contact. Because I remember the first couple of times I was looking over there trying to,
yes.
But it taught me to kind of calm myself, slow my speech, make eye contact, notice, what's going on in the room, and use that to advantage. So, and like what's the old saying goes, like, nothing happens in your comfort zone, right? Like,
yes.
So if you want change, and you gotta get out of your comfort zone,
100%.
right? And we're humans, right? We all get stuck, and we all like to be in our bubble, and it feels safe and nice and whatnot. But yeah.
And you can't be afraid of, like, as you said, you can't be afraid of failing or what other people think. And I think, like, I've said this recently, but I think also, unfortunately, with a lot of people I know passing and stuff like that, I'm just like, yo, who cares? Whatever you want to do, just do it. You know what I mean?
Just do it.
Your time is so finite, and who's gonna care? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's gonna care, really?
Just as long as you're not out here doing it, hurting anyone and whatnot.
Exactly.
Just do your thing. Try it. Just try.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, Marvin. Well, now I actually want to get into it a little bit more, right? Okay. Because I would say a lot of people probably know you as, like, I know you're rebranding, but a lot of people probably remember, like, Senior Gumboy, do the videos, the funny videos online, the skits and them things, right? Yeah. So I wanted to talk about how was that transition from, that being kind of the primary, I think, thing that you became bigger doing. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
That's definitely that's right? most of the time when I'm out, like, there's a look that I feel like people give me when they're contemplating. They'll kind of go like this, and aren't you that guy? You look familiar. Like, that's all. Yeah. I'd say the skits are definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you like, how has that transition gone from you being that person like in front of the camera? Now you're kind of now actually sometimes people have said, "Oh, the camera guy," you know what
Yeah,
I mean? So
yeah,
so I'm like, "Oh, it's kind of switching, right?"
yeah,
Cuz someone that didn't know you, I was mentioned you and they said, "Oh, the camera guy." And I was
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah." You know what I mean? So how has that been for you?
It's been good, like, because again, I've also been doing photography so long that some people will, especially a lot of promoters I used to shoot for earlier, will
Yes.
still call me
Remember.
by like my photography name,
Oh, what name is that?
M7 Photography, or like M7, right?
Oh, okay.
So
That's where that came from.
exactly. So yeah. So sometimes I'll even have to kind of, if someone's like, "Oh, you look familiar," I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." I'll go to photography first.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe, I take pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe it could be this.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so I don't mind where they kind of know me from. It's,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Mhm.
But yeah, the transition it has been good because I kind of told
Okay.
myself at some point, well,
Mhm.
I would say about like 2018,
Yeah.
I want to get back to photography more in a creative sense.
Okay.
So I stopped doing as many skits and
Mhm.
started to put my photography out there more, especially like on my profile and stuff like that, right? So
Oh,
people,
okay.
because I know it's hard to switch people's minds, right? Especially when they know you for a certain thing. Like
Yes.
they cannot see you doing anything else,
You
right?
know,
And if they see you doing anything else, they're like,
I'm
I did not
confused.
sign up for this. What is this,
I,
right? So
yep.
I knew it would definitely be a little bit of a switch, especially for the audience and whatnot. But
Yes.
it's my journey, right? So
Mhm.
whoever still wants to come along for the ride, I appreciate it. If you want to get off now, then I
Then that's
appreciate you.
okay too.
That's
Yeah.
okay too. I appreciate you, being part of the journey up until this point.
Yes.
But
I know what you mean though.
yeah.
Cuz I remember when I like was like, okay, I was already doing psychotherapy like and behind the scenes I've been doing this like social work for
Mm.
a long time, right? I graduated from my master's in 2010, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing this for a hot minute, but people that knew me would probably know me for like parties back in the day or events.
Yeah.
One of the two, right?
Yeah.
So now I have to make you see me as a professional
Yeah. In a
who's
different light.
trained to
Yeah.
do this,
Yeah.
in a different light. But as you said, we're allowed to have different aspects of ourselves
Mm-hmm.
too, right?
Yeah.
But it is hard because it's not only a transition for you, it's a transition for for everyone else too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To kind of change their view of you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like a lot of times, especially creators and whatnot, especially YouTubers, they're like deathly afraid to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just doing a disservice to yourself, right? Like
Yeah.
you shouldn't let like your audience or like the content like hold you hostage. Like that's how it felt.
Yeah.
Right. And even sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes
Yeah.
I still feel like, oh man, I should make a skit because I haven't made a skit in a while. And then especially when I go out and people like, oh, you stopped making videos and stuff like that, so
yeah.
I will make the videos, people. Okay, I will make the videos. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
Okay.
part of the journey.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, thanks, Marvin. I actually also wanted to talk about, being an entrepreneur, like, what are some of those pain points,
Mhm.
like, I know we talked like a bit about, the positives, but like, well, maybe we can talk about both, but let's start with the
The
negatives. Yeah.
Yeah, being an entrepreneur, definitely lack of consistency,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think it's probably the biggest one, right?
Mhm.
You depending on what niche and genre you're in, right? You don't know when, maybe your next client is gonna be, your
Mhm.
next gig or whatnot.
Yes.
And I saw this video the other day where a girl said, what was it like? Try, how you get paid every like 2 weeks or whatever and whatnot. Try getting net 30, right? So you don't know if the company is gonna pay you in 30 days when they say, in 90 days when they say, or you may have to be harassing people for the work that you done and whatnot, right?
Yes.
So that's one thing. And it's not a 9 to 5, right?
No.
Literally the work doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Right? When you're an entrepreneur, you can wake up at 7 a.m.
Yes.
be doing this. I mean, yes, you can take your breaks and whatever, when you like.
Yeah.
But you also know if you don't put in the work, you're not getting
Oh yeah.
anything out of it, right? Versus like, you know, a more 9 to 5 structure, you know, you can,
Yes.
you know, do your work in the morning, chill
Yeah.
for the rest of the day. Sometimes
Yeah.
depending on the job that you have, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot of ups and downs, I would say.
Yes. No, definitely.
And I think you definitely have to be an emotionally solid individual, because again, depending on the thing that you're in your line of work,
Yeah.
people will test you.
Yes.
You know, will get on your nerves, will
Yeah.
not be understanding, will you know,
Yeah.
so you really kind of have to be emotionally solid within yourself to,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Weather the
weather the
storm.
storms and
Yeah.
whatnot, right?
No, you're right. Because like, let's be honest, like, yeah, like sometimes the people can even start to bash your business, right?
Mhm.
Like that's like obviously the worst case scenario,
Mhm.
but that can happen too, right? So you are right. You really do have to be a strong individual,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And kind of also, I think, have a really strong belief in yourself too,
Yes.
right?
100%. And your abilities, and at some point, like you have to be like, you know what, like I'm worthy of this, right?
Yeah.
I've worked for this, right? I've put in the time, I put in the energy, I've studied, I've invested my own money into this, right?
Yeah.
So at some point you gotta own it.
Gotta own it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the key piece too. If you believe it and you own it, then other people will believe you as well. Right?
Yeah.
If you come like, and don't get me wrong, you're going to come in with a certain level of like, you know, potentially some fear too, right? But the more you can really own it and believe it, and then other people believe it too, because it's just, they can feel that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That energy is contagious. I've one of the lessons I learned from photography, that I kind of apply, you know, just all around is as a photographer, you have to, even when like the building is burning down, you gotta look like you are cool as a cucumber, nothing's bothering you, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, no one really knows. Right? Except you.
Yeah.
But you are the one who will let them know.
Well,
right?
Think about it, Marvin. Even when we do our events,
yep. There's times, right? Where's the food? Oh, where's this person supposed to be here? Right? And you got to put out a million flyers.
Is going on, but we just like, yeah, you're right. If you don't make it a big deal, no one else is really noticing. Everyone else is just vibing and enjoying the
atmosphere and what's going on. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's very true. Okay. So let's shift over to the positive side. You know, what would you say are some of the positives that you felt, you know, that you've experienced or that you have being an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I guess the ownership of your time more so. You know, you can control how much, you know, work you want to take on at some points, and from what you don't.
Yeah. I love not having to book off vacation.
Right? There you go. Oh, I want to go to Miami this weekend. I got the time, sure. You know, that type of vibe, right?
Yeah.
You get to meet a lot of people, like interesting people and cool people. And that's kind of the reason why I even wanted to get into photography, because I wanted a job that I can travel and meet people all the time. Those were kind of like my two requirements. I was like, okay.
So would you call yourself an extrovert?
I guess I am now.
Okay.
But I feel like at heart I'm more of an introvert.
I know. You know what? I was thinking like, no, you're mixed. Like,
yeah, I know. And some people say, you know, they are, but I think I'm really truly one of those people who are a mix. I definitely enjoy being around people, and when I'm around people, I'm like, let's go and whatever, and being that encouraging guy. You should drink that, you know, and one more. But because also I think too, I've been around people for so long and expelling so much energy, I think that there's sometimes I need to recharge my battery.
Sometime to replenish. For sure. For sure. What do you think I am?
You're an extrovert. you are.
You know what?
You are.
You know me.
Yeah. Like after like 2 days, you're like, I need to go out the house. Like I can see that.
You know what? I really am. Honestly, I think everyone would say that. And facts, I think it's true. Like obviously there is points where I do have to go and take my little bubble bath, but like it doesn't last too long. Then I'm like, all right, let's go back outside.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, and another I guess upside of being an entrepreneur is, you know, there's not really a cap to your earning potential.
No, there isn't.
Whereas, you know, certain jobs and whatever, like this is your pay. We're gonna give you a raise, you know, 2% every 5 years or something like that.
And that's it.
And with it's good in that aspect because you have that consistency.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, if you have, you know, dreams of aspirations of going this and having this type of life with your family and stuff like that, certain things just won't allow that, right?
Yeah, or it's going to be a lot harder.
It's going to
be really good with your investing and them kind of things.
Yeah, them Bitcoin and all them something.
Yeah,
whatever,
you're going to have to figure it out. Yes, that's a whole nother episode. But I wanted to ask you another question, Marvin. Kind of a little something more personal.
No problem.
But basically, how do you believe being an entrepreneur affects your romantic life?
Yeah, it's again, it can be difficult because you have to put in, I think, a lot more hours than you know, kind of that 9 to 5 structure. So depending on, you know, the partner you have, you know, if you have a partner that's, you know, their thing is what's the love language, quality time or whatever, right? If then I can definitely, that could be, you know,
be hard.
Yeah, it could be hard, right? And again, if say you're going through a period of, depending on what your business is, like, you know, things slow down at certain times, right? So,
and especially like I'm just gonna be real, right? This is my podcast, but especially as a man, right?
Yep.
And if you're not making no money, right?
Certain amount,
Like,
you
how
know,
does that make you
especially the gal don't want to go 50-50 these days, fellas. So fellas, you better know that, you know, you better get ready for your 110% because
you know what it is? I just want a man that's not coming with that energy off the rip.
Off the rip
you
is
know
too
what
much.
I mean? Off the rip, like you like
at least trick you a little bit.
No. Like at least have the heart to want to do 100%. Like if you can't do it, and I get it, it's expensive in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
I get it. I'm not gonna like make you struggle. Just sit back and like count my money. But like, you know what I mean. I'm willing to help, but I don't want you to be that kind of
not
guy.
comfortable.
Like, oh, I paid last time. Like, you paid today. Like, don't make me vomit. Like I can't.
No. No, that's definitely understandable, and I think I mean, maybe we're going off topic. As men, like bit. as most men want that, right? Like I would say 8 out of 10 men want that, you know, so
want to be able to
want to be able to, right? But you know, as we can see, this economy is trying to make us all poor, but but that's another aspect of it. If you know, if your things are a little slow at some point, and you know, depending on your partner, if you know they have a certain standard, or used to a certain type of thing, then that could be, you know, difficult to navigate. And again, if depending on what industry you're in, right? Like for me, I'm in an industry where I'm at a lot of events, right?
Yes.
And again, especially parties, there's a lot of women, right?
Yep.
Right. So if you have a partner that's maybe a little insecure, and not saying that, you know, whatever the case may be.
No, I get it. Or he just doesn't like you.
Just doesn't like you being in those type of
time.
atmospheres, right? Then that could be another, you know, point of contention in your relationship, right?
Definitely.
So you really got to know, I think, yourself and kind of know what you're looking for out of a partner.
Yeah.
To you know.
I think they also got to be supportive and kind of believe in your vision.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I can be honest and say that certain exes that I have had, I know would not have been okay with me doing this, like doing ROP, doing events, doing podcasts, you know what I mean? Like, let's be real, right? So, but the thing is, at this point, I'm kind of at a point where, you know, this is what it is, and you either accept it or you don't. If you don't like it, okay.
No problem, that's fine.
There's plenty of girls that don't do podcasts, you know what I mean?
Yeah, to me, like, I feel like, it shouldn't feel like a fight.
Yeah.
Like, love shouldn't feel like a fight, right? It should just feel cohesive, natural, right? We're in tune, right? I mean, of course, there's always going to be times when, you know, whatever, right? Because again, at the end of the day, you're two different people with opinions and whatnot, but
exactly,
it shouldn't be a fight, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely having someone who sees a vision and can support you is key, because that's like gonna be your number one, you know, your number one, right? Your number one confidant, your number one person you may bounce ideas off and things of that nature. So you guys gotta be locked in on a certain level,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Marvin, I want to ask like a question, like, so what, like, I know you talked about it earlier about it being your passion, but I was going to ask, like, who is Marvin and what kind of, like, and I know that's a loaded question, so I'm not saying you have to go, like, you know, all the way down. But who is Marvin and what is kind of keeping you ticking, keeping you going?
So who is Marvin? I'm, you know, Jamaican born immigrant, right? You know, fun loving, right? I think I always look for the good in people, situations.
Yeah.
I think I like to think of myself as an optimist.
Yeah.
Right.
I see all of that.
Yeah, and I try to lead with love. Right. That's always been my thing, because I think a lot of the problems in the world with people is just a lack of love somewhere in their journey, right?
Oh yeah.
So I always try to be like understanding and just lead with love and not be into the, you know, the mix up and blend blend and all those things, right? Like,
so what about when someone does do something to you that's kind of mix up and blend, you just kind of fall back and just
I mean it depends on to the degree, right? Like I'm also not gonna let you step all over me and whatever, right? But also, you know, like you gotta choose your battles, right?
Yes.
And
definitely.
I'm a person that I'm not, if I see stress, right, you are projecting your insecurities and stuff like that, and I know this is an issue, it's not even with me.
Yes. I'm
good to just go the other way. Like I'm not gaining anything engaging in that, right? I'm good. Yeah. Right. So yeah, that's just kind of like I think my overall attitude and how I kind of approach things in the world, and just kind of lead with love and understanding.
I think that's great.
Until it gets to a point. No.
Right. Yes. Oh, obviously, everyone has their limits. Everyone has their limits, right? Like I had to work on extending mine. Right? Yeah. Because you know, I mean, we've had these conversations. Like I know I'm the villain in some people's story, but you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is, right? You know.
Right. Okay. Well, Marvin, honestly, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you just like telling us about the journey, just being a creative entrepreneur, right? That you can go through those ups and downs, you can pivot, you know, and you can. And although there are some drawbacks, there are a lot of positives. And I believe that you're honestly doing the thing, right? And yeah, no, honestly, you've been an inspiration for me too, because remember when I was trying my little 5-minute YouTube thing, you know? which is not done. Right? Which is not done. Which is definitely not done. No. I know I shouldn't call it little. It's big.
Exactly.
It's
there
big,
you go.
Right? But you were even at that time, you were so helpful, you know? You, Shanice, you know, all the times at the house, you know. Really appreciate you and you guys, and thank you so much for coming today.
No problem.
And and thank you so much for listening to our show today. And I hope that you guys got something from it. If you have any other questions for myself or Marvin, feel free to leave those in the comments, and we'll see you next time.